Now at 9, you might have seen something new on campus. Find out the history behind it.
Find out why a Muncie man donated his kidney to a police officer.
No arrests made in the case of Donald Trump allegedly paying hush money to an adult film star. What federal officials are saying.
The Federal Reserve is raising its rates. Find out the effect it's going to have.
We saw a beautiful day today, but we are going to see rainy conditions start to move into our area. I'll have the timing for all that and more in my full forecast.
Delaware County's only live television newscast from Ball State University's Unified Media Newsroom. You're watching NewsLink Indiana.
Good evening. Thanks for being with us. I'm Olivia Sloniker.
And I'm Emma Matlock. Federal officials, including those at the FBI and Department of Homeland Security, are monitoring what they say has been an uptick in violent rhetoric online, including calls for, quote, civil war since former President Donald Trump asked supporters to protest what he said was his impending arrest.
So far, no arrests or announcements on charges. CNN's Paula Reed has more.
This was the day former President Trump claimed he would be arrested on charges related to a hush money probe. But there is no sign yet of an arrest or even an indictment. Still, law enforcement continues to prepare for possible protests. In Washington, D.C., barriers erected around the Capitol. In New York, police officers told to be in uniform and ready for deployment. So far, officials say there are no credible threats, despite online chatter calling for civil war if Trump is indicted. Today, small groups gathered outside Trump Tower and Mar-a-Lago. There has been no word from the Manhattan District Attorney after a last-ditch effort by Trump to avoid charges. Attorney Robert Costello appearing before the grand jury Monday to attack the witness at the center of the investigation, Michael Cohen.
My obligation is to bring the truth to both the district attorney and to Trump's lawyers. That's exactly what I did.
Costello previously represented Cohen.
If they want to go after Donald Trump and they have solid evidence, so be it. But Michael Cohen is far from solid evidence.
It is unclear whether the grand jury will hear from more witnesses as it investigates a $130,000 payment to porn star Stormy Daniels to silence her about an alleged affair with Trump. She was paid by Cohen in the final days of the 2016 campaign.
Did you know about the $130,000 payment to Stormy Daniels?
No.
Now, 7 years on, the DA is looking at whether Trump may have falsified business records when reimbursing Cohen for the payment.
This case is not going to be predicated on any one individual, but rather it's going to be predicated on the documents, the evidence, the text messages, the emails.
Cohen has made countless public statements about the investigation.
The DA's team are spectacular. They are well-versed. They are well-informed. And we just will continue to cooperate each and every time that they ask. My goal is to allow Alvin Bragg and his team to do what they need to do.
At the end, the grand jurors have an opportunity just to ask me some questions as well, and I'm looking forward to that.
While he usually says he cannot talk about what happens in the grand jury room, he has been advised to stop talking about the case on TV after drawing the ire of prosecutors for appearing on TV Monday night to rebut Costello's testimony.
If in fact that I waived attorney-client privilege, I'd like to know when, how, where. I don't recall waiving anything, but again, this is I don't know what he's talking about.
March is National Kidney Month.
That's right, and one local man donated his organ to change a Muncie police officer's life. NewsLink Indiana's Tara Konieczny has the story.
Chris Swanson, a Muncie police officer, was in kidney failure and was in need of either dialysis or a transplant.
The recommendation that I received from my doctor was to look at finding a living donor.
Matthew and Chris met in 2019 and have kept up a friendship ever since. When Matthew heard that Chris was in need of help, he felt inclined to get checked to see if he was a match for Chris.
Chris needed one. I was like, I'll just sign up, see what the process is like, and go through it. I don't have anything to lose.
Matthew had an incompatible blood type to Chris, but Matthew agreed to do a paired exchange, which involves 4 people. Matt was a donor to another pair of people in the same situation as he and Chris, and the other paired person gave Chris their kidney, so one person in each pair got a successful transplant.
He's telling me, he's like, you got a big kidney. And I was like, what? He's like, yeah, that guy had a big kidney.
Matt said the process before surgery took a couple months, but finally on November 16th, Matthew got his kidney taken out, and November 18th, Chris got a new kidney in his abdomen.
Obviously, they put an organ inside of my abdomen, so like everything's been kind of like shifting around and kind of, you know, like at first it stuck out really far and then it's just kind of gotten pulled back in.
Matt says it was an easy decision when he knew that it would change Chris's life.
That was another part for me. Like, his kids, some of them are so young, and how could I watch them growing up without the person that they love? And I couldn't do that. So it was a relief knowing that he'd be able to be in their lives for weddings, graduations, etc.
In Muncie, Tara Konieczny, NewsLink, Indiana. Thank you, Tara. Now that is a very heartwarming story. Let's go ahead and transition over to weather with Rachel.
We were seeing a very similar day as we saw yesterday. Only 4 degrees different than we saw yesterday. But over the last 5 days, we've had a lot of temperature swings. Friday, we saw 55 degrees, dropping significantly to 29 degrees and 36 degrees Saturday and Sunday. Our average is 44 for this time of year, but then Monday, the first day of spring, jumped up to 50 degrees. Today, we saw a high of 53 degrees. And I'll be tracking the remainder of warmer temperatures throughout the rest of the week, as well as a lot of rain chances coming up to end this week, all coming up in my full forecast.
New evidence supports the theory that the coronavirus originated in nature. A new analysis suggests animals susceptible to the virus that causes COVID-19 were at a wet market in Wuhan, China in the early days of the coronavirus. The findings come from an international team of researchers who reanalyzed genomic data collected at the market in early 2020. They say some samples positive for traces of the virus also contain traces of DNA from animals known to be susceptible to infection. Researchers point to this as evidence that live animals traded in the market could have passed the virus to humans. Among the animals included in the analysis were raccoon dogs, red foxes, rabbits, cats, and dogs. Coming up, the end of the pandemic also meant the end of free lunches, what schools are doing to tackle the student lunch debt. And the Federal Reserve is facing a dilemma, what that concerns next.
I love you.
Prescription drug pricing points to corporate
Freedom of the press is about your right to know.
and Clark sheer athleticism.
It's about your right to be informed. Today, there are real threats to press freedom
Reaching residential areas.
and your right to know about the world around us. We must protect our right to know, no matter what kind of news is important to you. Before it's too late, understand the threats. ProtectPressFreedom.org.
The central and midwestern U.S. averages more than 850 tornadoes each year, and lately, the number of floods has been rising in the region too. So chances are, there will be more twisters and floods near here again. And between school, sports, and social lives, chances are, you won't be with your kids when it happens. Will they know what to do? Ready.gov/kids has all the educational tools and information to make the conversation easy. When the time comes, chances are they'll feel prepared, not scared. So talk with your family today.
Hey guys, it's me, Isabella Gomez, filling in for Smokey Bear because he's got more to say than just...
Only you can prevent wildfires.
Like, if you're outside enjoying a barbecue, don't let a hamburger distract you from fire safety. Make sure you aren't dumping your hot coals or ashes onto the ground because that could start a wildfire. So take wildfire prevention seriously and let's save the world one day at a time. Juntos con Smokey Bear, podemos hacerlo. Go to smokeybear.com to learn more about wildfire prevention.
Welcome back. Stay at the course or take a pause? That's the question the Federal Reserve will ponder as it makes its next decision on rate hikes.
The Fed kicked off a 2-day meeting today, and the announcement will come tomorrow afternoon. Karen Kafa is in Washington to break it down.
The Federal Reserve sees inflation easing, but a shaky banking sector, making their decision on interest rates more complicated.
I think what matters is, can they stabilize the banking system so they can free up their ability to tackle inflation?
Since last March, the Fed has pushed interest rates higher to make borrowing more expensive and cool spending. Annual inflation was down to 6% in February from a 40-year high of 9.1% last June. The Fed's target inflation rate is 2%. The labor market remains strong, keeping labor costs high for companies. So these economic indicators would typically point to another rate increase Wednesday.
Taken in isolation, I mean, the economy looks very, very good right now. And yes, the Fed would probably be raising rates by 25 basis points without what's going on right now. That said, what's going on right now is very unsettling.
But the Silicon Valley Bank and Signature Bank collapses raise questions about what banks can handle, with higher interest rates pushing down the value of bonds they purchased when rates were low. Professor Valentina Bruno of American University says the Fed has little room for miscalculation.
If the Fed hit the brakes too hard, it could be the beginning of a slowdown or even worse, a painful recession. And if the Fed hit the brakes too little, then inflation may go out of control.
The recent rate hikes put pressure on consumers from both sides, still facing high inflation at the grocery store and elsewhere, while paying more in credit card interest on mortgages and auto loans. In Washington, I'm Karen Kafa.
After nearly 2 years of high inflation, many online shoppers are ditching premium goods and opting for cheaper products. We're talking about everything from groceries to clothing. According to Adobe Analytics, high-priced goods across 11 categories of e-commerce have lost meaningful market share to low-cost alternatives. Meanwhile, the cheapest tier of personal care products doubled its market share, now accounting for more than half of the market. The same trend is playing out in terms of groceries. The most expensive grocery items went from representing about a quarter of the market in 2019 to nearly 10% now. This cheapest tier of online groceries has grown in market share to nearly half the market.
Some schools are struggling to handle student lunch debt now that the federal pandemic program that paid for the meals is over. On top of that, inflation is forcing many cafeterias to raise prices on breakfast and lunch. They are turning to donations to help balance their books. In South Dakota, the Meade School District says its lunch debt is about $500 higher this year than before the pandemic. To cover the losses, organizations, individuals, and businesses in the state's southwestern area have been chipping in. The district's food service director says the school nutrition program criteria isn't keeping pace with inflation. She says lunch participation dropped about 20% in her area after the federal program ended on September 30th. That's concerning because not all students get enough to eat at home. It's time to meet Bard, Google's new AI chatbot tool. Similar to ChatGPT, Bard is trained on vast troves of online data to generate compelling responses to user prompts. Google says it can help you outline and write essay drafts, plan a friend's baby shower, or make lunch based on what's in your fridge. Right now, Bard is a separate but complementary experience to Google Search, though that might change in the future. Google has put guardrails in place to keep interactions helpful and on topic. Users in the US and United Kingdom can join the waitlist to access Bard.
We've seen a beautiful day for our first day of spring today, but we are seeing rain really start to move into our area, and that will last throughout the week. All the timing for all that and more in my full forecast.
Here you go.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I think it's just vapor with flavor.
It won't hurt my kid like cigarettes, right?
Vaping is safer than smoking, isn't it?
There's really not even that much nicotine in them, right?
My kid?
My kid knows it's dangerous.
Get your head out of the cloud. Today, nearly 8,000 kids will start vaping, maybe even yours. Learn about the dangers at talkaboutvaping.org.
Emotes say a lot, but they can't say it all. Think your guildmate is struggling? Try these dialogue options. Go beyond emotes. Check in with your guildmates at seizetheawkward.org.
Every day,
Millions of people are connecting
and even though we're overcoming obstacles,
watching each other's backs,
and banding together.
we should still make an effort
We should still make an effort
to get to know each other.
on a deeper level. Father,
Cosplayer,
mentor.
actor.
It's time we take a step forward
It's time we take a step forward
come together,
and discover
how accepting our differences
can make us stronger.
If you've been walking around Ball State campus, you may have seen a brand new sculpture across the street from the CAP building.
NewsLink Indiana's Anna Drake talked to one of the designers to find out what the backstory is.
This past week, they were able to put on their design for campus. They have been working on this sculpture for a little over 2 years. The architecture students are proud to present a steel structure that serves as a hangout and study spot outdoors for students. So much went into this planning, design, and materials to put together this project.
We started with some initial designs, and the basis of the class was hands-on steel. So our base goal was just to get our hands on that material, understand steel, because as students, as designers, everything we do, for the most part, is on the computer.
The structure took time and commitment from many students to make this project happen, and it makes Ball State campus that much more unique. And as for CAP students that made this dream a reality, it is a really exciting thing to be a part of.
I know it's just been so cool to see everything come together, and it's going to be really cool just to see it in person, to say, you know, I did that, and then to see where it is on campus now and the students using it and things like that.
In Muncie, this is Anna Drake with NewsLink Indiana.
Thank you, Anna. Today was the first full day of spring, and we saw a beautiful sunny day, but right now we're seeing rain showers moving through our area, moving from Illinois up into our viewing area, into Muncie. And if we take a zoomed out look, we can see most of the Midwest is experiencing the same thing. Indiana, Kentucky, and Tennessee all experiencing rain from this weather system. That does have a cold front moving through it as well. Now over the next 8 hours, we do have our highest potential of rain at 10 and 11 p.m., around 80 to 90% of rain. It will start tapering off a little bit into the early overnight hours, but it will start increasing again for the early morning hours tomorrow. Now, as the cold front does move through, bringing that rain, we can see just a gradient moving through between the greens and the blues, showing the warmer and the colder temperatures. 49 in Fort Wayne, 48 in Muncie, 42 in Indianapolis currently. Let's take a look at Cincinnati, still at 53, Dayton at 54. They haven't experienced that cold front moving through yet, but as the rain keeps going through, our temperatures will drop slightly overnight. Now at 11 p.m. we will see 41 degrees under rainy conditions. 2 a.m. we will see a little bit of lighter rain, 39 degrees, and then at 5 a.m. we will see cloudy conditions as the rain starts to taper off. Tomorrow we do have rain chances again, 53 degrees for our higher temperatures tomorrow, so it will start looking more like spring, but not quite feeling like it. Our highest chances for rain tomorrow are in the early morning hours and in the early evening, or in the late evening hours, excuse me. Now, over in the afternoon, we will see cloudy conditions, but we will have a possibility of scattered showers throughout the day, so it wouldn't be a bad idea to have your umbrella and your rain jacket on hand so you don't get caught in the rain. Now, over the next 5 days, we will be seeing several days of rain chances, 60% on Wednesday, 70% on Thursday. Thursday into Friday is going to be our chance for the heaviest rainfall and the most accumulated precipitation. So on Friday, it'll be very similar to Wednesday. We'll be seeing our highest rain chances in the morning and in the evening, but the day again will be cloudy with scattered showers. Saturday, we have a 30% chance of rain, before Sunday being our one dry day of the weekend, leading to a more springful-like day for that weekend. Now let's go ahead and time it out for your precision cast. 1 a.m. Wednesday, most of Indiana covered in rain before scattered showers just move through, and then 10 p.m. all of Muncie is being covered by the more sustained rain, and then all day Thursday again we'll be sitting under the rain there before we start seeing a break in the rain until around 6 p.m. on Friday when we do see more sustained rain, and then Saturday it'll finally move through our area. So to wrap it up for you, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday all have rain chances before we do have a slight chance of sun finally coming through on Sunday. Those temperatures looking a little bit more spring-like than we've been seeing to start off next week. And guys, I'm just so excited for these warmer temperatures. A little bummed about all the rain coming through, but hopeful that we will see some sunshine next week.
Absolutely. I was walking around campus today. I didn't have a coat on. I didn't have boots on. It was fantastic.
And honestly, I really enjoy seeing all of the other students just enjoying the weather. It's really great to see everybody just showing up and showing out.
Absolutely. Thank you, Rachel. Let's send it to Jace with sports.
One Ball State athlete is headed to nationals and one program season has come to an end. All that and more next in sports.
Here's your sandwich, miss.
Oh, thank you.
And your burger.
Awesome, thank you.
And your bowl of boiling water, sir.
After retiring from the NFL, I've been able to spend a lot more time coaching my daughter's basketball teams. It's something I love to do. Through our games and our tournaments, we see all types of coaching, good and bad. And it begs the question, do we really know who's coaching our kids? Do they have the proper training and screening it would take for me to be comfortable with my daughters playing for that coach? Our Youth Basketball Association made the decision to use trusted coaches to screen and train all of our coaches. I'm a trusted coach. Are you?
So if one cat has 4 kittens who reproduce every 6 months, how many cats will there be in 5 years? Who's got it? Is this... What is that? Seriously? Who threw that?
Cats are terrible at math, but they sure do multiply. Please spay, neuter, and adopt.
The solution is 10.
Welcome back to NewsLink Indiana. I'm Jace Miller with sports. Even after a second place team finished in the MAC Indoor Championships, some athletes still want more. NewsLink Indiana's Zach Greer talks to one senior and her path to achieving history.
Here at the Brandon Sports Complex lies one track and field athlete with a background that you might not expect.
I've done track and field since the 5th grade, but I started in Germany because I lived there because my dad was stationed there at the time.
Where's that letter? Here to Muncie as an All-American in the high jump and indoor pentathlon, a Cardinal who head coach Adrian Wheatley can appreciate.
It's been really good to see her kind of take off where she left off last year. She had a really good kind of breakout year, and now it's just kind of taking it to the next level. So now the things that she's doing and seeing, she's already been there, done that. She's seen it. It's nothing new. Now we just need to continue to execute.
After an outdoor NCAA appearance in the high jump in Eugene, Oregon last year, she plans to qualify this year yet again.
It was exciting to be there and be able to see the best of the best compete, as along with myself, be able to compete in the high jump.
So, coming from the best, how do you prepare?
Do what I have been doing and visualize exactly what it's supposed to look like.
In her last ride, the goal for Griffith is very simple.
This year at NCAAs, I want to give it all I got and I want to win. I feel like everybody's goal should be to at least win going into the NCAAs. You're already in the top, why not go for like the highest there is to achieve there.
With just 6 meets left until the postseason, Griffith looks to get over the hump and capture a national championship. In Muncie, Zach Greer, NewsLink, Indiana.
Ball State women's basketball season has come to an end. The Cardinals fell last night in the second round of the WNIT to the Memphis Tigers in a 79-62 final. The game marks the end of the Cardinal careers of All-MAC first-team selection Anna Clefane and graduate guard Thelma DeSaugustadter. A highlight of the match for the Cards comes for DeSaugustadter as she broke the three-point record with 3 threes to move to 325 career three-point buckets. Memphis moves on to the Super 16 to take on a MAC contender in the Bowling Green Falcons. As the basketball season comes to an end here in Muncie, baseball season is well underway as the Cards face off with Butler for a midweek matchup. The Cardinals enter into the matchup 13-6 on the year on a 4-game win streak and 5-1 at home. The opposing dugout, the Bulldogs approach the mound 3-15 on the season and an abysmal 0-10 on the year. The Cards will look to continue their momentum off their sweep of MAC opponent Toledo this past weekend. Ball State will take the field at First Merchants Ballpark Complex at 2 p.m. and look to improve to 14-6. And guys, I'm really excited to watch this baseball team this year. I mean, 5-1 at home. I mean, they're going to be good.
Absolutely. They were great last year, too. I'm so excited to see what they do this upcoming season.
I agree. I don't know much about baseball, but to be honest, I'm very excited to actually get out there and learn about it a little bit.
Right. I mean, and they have heavy hitters. I know that. I know their pitching's good, so should be very entertaining to watch here.
Absolutely. Thank you, Jace. After the break, we'll take a look at our anchor picks.
And one final look at weather. We'll be right back.
Here you go.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
No problem.
Just like the rules to surviving Zombieland, there are steps you can take to be prepared for an emergency.
It's the right thing to do.
Talk with your family to make a plan. Look for safe areas to meet up if separated. And stock up on supplies. It's never too early to get prepared, so start now.
Right now? Right now.
You can't predict emergencies, but you can be ready.
You're welcome, America.
Visit ready.gov today to learn more.
Jordan knows he shouldn't eat this entire bowl of nachos, but tonight he's earned that right. Because a few hours ago, in the middle of happy hour, he recognized a sign. Not from the gods or a bolt of lightning, but from a double heart, a kissy face, and a fourth ha in ha ha ha. That's when Jordan knew he was buzzed. So when it was time to go, he got a ride home instead of driving. Be a legend like Jordan. Recognize your buzzed warning signs and get a ride home. Buzz driving is drunk driving.
A job may be waiting for you in New Mexico if you love animals and the outdoors. The state's Department of Game and Fish posted a job on Facebook that says it is looking for professional bear huggers. The agency is actually looking to hire conservation officers, and interactions with bears is only one part of the job. The department says the job is guaranteed to bring someone the experience of a lifetime.
Time for some of us to date ourselves. Remember CDs? They're turning 40 years old in the United States. The first commercial compact disc was released in Japan back in 1982, but they didn't make it over to the US until March of 1983. The CD served as an alternative to the larger vinyl records and the bulkier cassette tapes. When the first CD came out, to bulkier cassette tapes. All right, let's go ahead and send it over to Rachel with one last look at weather.
We're seeing a lot of rain chances this week. Wednesday, we have a 60% chance. Overnight and early morning showers. Thursday and Friday, those are going to be our heaviest days of precipitation. 70% on Thursday, 60% chance of rain on Friday, until we get to the weekend where we see a little bit more sun coming through.
That's all tonight for NewsLink Indiana. Be sure to join us again tomorrow at 9, streaming live on the NewsLink Indiana Facebook page.
And for news anytime, anywhere, go to ballstatedaily.com. Have a great night.